All right. That's Jokla popping off from the last game in Aphro, you got to cast that kind of slobber knocker between the two teams. I did love the Hwei that would not die. Just no one could kill the Nautilus, and we'll see if Senna Nautilus gets through in this game as well. What have you been thinking about Senna Prio on blue side thus far?
It's actually probably worth a ban.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
I would say
after seeing Hwei play with FBI and it looked just impossible to kill, it's definitely gonna be hopefully not get through the draft.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Dig ban it, because obviously I would think 100 Thieves in particular is a team that we've already seen play a lot of Senna themselves, even before she kind of took over the global meta. As they ban out the Ivern and the Ashe, and then on the side of Dig, we have the TF and Varus coming out, and we'll have to wait to see if that red side third ban is that Senna.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys talked about it, just came in, but the Twisted Fate ban has just been a regular on red side. Tells me that people are really respecting the Twisted Fate flex. Yes, like mid lane for sure, but the win rate on top lane is just ridiculous. It's like 53% at the moment. So a lot of love, a lot of respect to it. I would imagine that with the break that you've had, a lot of teams have been able to run it. So just wanted to throw that out there. It's not obviously being played, but nice note to the new patch.
Yeah, and Kalista ban coming through. We are all waiting with bated breath to see.
Please ban it.
Does Senna get through?
Please.
What do we think? We'll see if chat is spamming it too. Yes, she does!
Not the vibe.
After the sigh you just let out was certainly something. I'll be shocked if this first pick actually is Aatrox and not Senna.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. I mean, like, Senna is so good at the moment. We just saw it dominating the games today. Yeah.
Hell surprise.
There it is.
Makes sense.
There we go.
And like, honestly, Sniper's actually expanded his champion pool just a bit, and you've had that longer break, so it feels like he can be a little bit more comfortable. So he doesn't have to go to an Aatrox that early, even if reaches to take it away. So makes sense that you want to drop that down and see what we end up getting.
I was gonna say, what happens if you take Nautilus away? What do they pick?
I mean, I feel like you can run Senna with anything.
You're probably just gonna go
just
Kench.
lock in Leona and start farming.
How would you have liked to play farming Leona back in the day?
Back in the day, no.
Now?
We didn't get gold back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
We're
broke.
scrounging. But now with these new items and all the gold sports kit, it might not be too bad.
Yeah. And with that Nautilus takeaway, they also lock in the Talia. Last week, Dig actually had an unexpected, undefeated weekend, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us kind of underestimated this team. We see Tomo there, one of the first players in LCS to bring out the Smolder and win with it. So, going into this week, I'm very curious to see where Dig end up, because they are in that 4 or 5 block, or they were at the start of the day. So
You're right. Like, they've surprised a lot of people. The fact they were able to get that to a week, and just in general, a lot of credit to eXyu and Isles for me, because Isles is a player I thought has actually been performing quite well. We've seen Dignitas in the past, like few splits, where bot lane is just getting pelted with every jungle attention. You're getting dove constantly. In this case, Tomo and Isles have had great laning phase. eXyu's had really good early jungling sense. So that's been a positive. The one negative I'm going to give is about the draft, because Talia Nautilus versus Tahm Kench, like, this is Tahm Kench's dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know we're off camera, but the shrug you just gave us here, like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, maybe you don't take Nautilus away, huh?
It's possible. It was wishful thinking, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we see the Renekton coming in for Sniper, and as I had mentioned previously, Tomo is such a Smolder enjoyer. He was one of the players who was streaming it constantly. Here we see Sniper. This is his debut first 9 games versus a whole bunch of other top laners that are either currently in the LCS or have otherwise been in the LCS. It's really interesting to see his numbers stacking up against them.
Yeah, what's important here, of course, if you're comparing top laners, Impact, Someday, even Rich, they've all had a wealth of experience. So even if this is your like debut in LCS, this is him as a rookie, like incredibly young. The 5 solo kills that he's had, 3 in lane, has been shocking everyone. Even like if you talk to the Academy casters, like, well, he wasn't performing well in like NACL, but he came on stage. Every time you see him in an interview or talk with him, he's incredibly humble, talks about just grinding the game. And so like, in fact, he said during the podcast with like his 100 Thieves podcast that he was surprised with the LCS work ethic. The negative surprise. Because he was like,
no.
So like, and he was being very kind about it. But overall, like, he's the type of person like after scrims will grind solo queue, and it's been coming out really clutch for him, you can tell. So he's on the Renekton this game. He's gonna get the support from the Senna cross map. So overall, good to see it. They're in winning ways right now, second in the split. Want to see if they can convert this game.
Yeah, and as we see the Azir taken out by Dignitas, the Volibear taken out by 100 Thieves, and the Orianna taken out by Dignitas. One thing I would definitely credit 100 Thieves for, and Sniper's obviously involved in this as well, is their coaching staff and their players seem to really know like how they want to play, what they want to put them on for success, and seem to have a very good understanding of their players.
Yeah.
I think obviously it's just the first 3 picks, but this draft is already shaping up to be a really good one that 100 Thieves should be comfortable with.
And even though we've seen the Volibear ban, just want to put it out there that this could just easily be a Taliyah jungle. So we're not sure what the mid lane pick could just be already. What I would like to see is, man, the Azir ban, I guess, makes it very clear that it is just
so good
here.
here.
Yeah, it is really good. So
Seeing it the past 3 games today, you know, we've had enough.
Yeah. You don't want to get that nice Showmaker tank
No.
Zir in there. Buffed by Senna. Actually, yeah, it would depend on the rest of this draft to see what they would have picked for that. But as we see, Rich, Cassante, the old standby. Yeah, even with the nerfs, obviously, Cassante is still a very dangerous champ.
yeah. And even though I did say that this could be a jungle Taliyah, and that's why they're kind of holding the flex to 5, with Orianna and Azir ban, kind of expect that to be mid lane Taliyah. That being said, you could be really creative here if you're eXyu on what your 5 pick could be. You know, back in the day, not so long ago, like if you see a Tahm Kench Senna or just Tahm Kench anything, you start to think about Zac. Anything that's like a beefy tank that can stay in the fight for a long period of time, so Tahm Kench doesn't get the benefit of just holding, like, nabbing someone.
Yeah, and I think it will be really interesting to see Quid coming out on the Hwei, right? Because Taliyah, what Dignitas kind of is also a takeaway. 100 Thieves made the most of by Taliyah last week.
Yeah.
And then Trundle coming out as River's jungle pick, which is very interesting.
100 Thieves comp is disgusting to play against.
Oh, yeah. Trundle's actually such a good pick here versus Cassante and Nautilus.
Yeah, and it really is calling out whatever Dignitas' 5-pick jungle is going to be. It feels like it's going to be bad, right? You're going to lose the 1v1 to a lot of bruisers. I mean, the Trundle's going to beat a lot of bruisers. You can't really pick a tank pick because then you just get a lot of value off of Trundle ulti. So it's going to be eXyu's Lee Sin. What's your thoughts on the draft so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think I really like 100 Thieves draft. And really quickly, I did want to go over just a little short telestrator of River in that kind of Taliyah last week in a team fight. I think here, this is in their game against C9. Berserker and JoJo are the 2 people that River is constantly looking out for. So this is like team fight targeting 101, right? Because after C9's ults missed there, 100 Thieves is able to go in and just watch River because he is constantly aware of where JoJo is. He immediately ults JoJo as JoJo comes around on the flank, changes his teamfight targeting. He knows exactly who he needs to mark. And this was the game-winning fight for 100 Thieves as we speed through the rest of this. They got Ocean Soul off of this. They got Baron off of it. And where C9, Berserker, had just, who almost comes out at the very end of this fight with a few more kills. He had just gotten a pentakill before this. It really looked like C9 was in charge. That's something that I credit River highly for, and I thought he did a really great job in that game. We'll see if he can do it on the Trundle with this 100 Thieves composition as we take it away, Flowers.
Thank you very much, Emily and Raz and Afro. It's time to get into game number 4 of the day, our last matchup here in day 1 of LCS Face-Off. Afro just did champ select with the analyst, so he's not going to be joining us for the cast this time around, but I'm still Captain Flowers. I'm still joined by Jatt, and we got 100 Thieves going up against Dignitas. Some interesting storylines here with the loss of FlyQuest earlier on in the day. 100 Thieves has the opportunity to tie with them for first right now. And at the same time, Dignitas is coming off of a really impressive performance of their own just last week.
Yeah, doesn't that just seem absurd that 100 Thieves would be in first?
Yeah.
At this stage in the year with only 4 games left?
That's kind of wild, man.
And they're favored. They should be favored in this game.
I think so, absolutely. They've been one of the teams that's kind of surprised a lot of people, myself included. I was expecting them to be like lower mid of the pack, and they're accelerating really quickly. This team is really flipping the switch.
They need to come out strong right off the break to basically assert that they're actually here, because I think in scrims before the year, even during the split, teams don't really believe their record because, they've beaten them a lot in scrims, or Sniper took a long time to ramp up earlier on in the split. He's still a rookie. Quid was so bad last year, et cetera, et cetera. Yet on stage, fairly consistently, they've had really strong, cohesive drafts.
Yep.
And then River, for me, and I know there's a lot of different competitors, but for me, River would be the leading candidate for MVP. Just because of what he's working with. Yes, Quid has improved a lot individually, but Gory also looked amazing with River as his jungler last year. And River just does so much for teams' abilities to play early, and specifically just their abilities to teamfight late, as Emily just displayed in that telestrator.
Yeah.
Really being in the heads of enemy carries the entire game. On top of that, you have Meech and Eyla in the bottom lane for 100 Thieves being very effective when they need to be. I don't think they've necessarily carried games through the bottom lane, but they're allowing the mid jungle to take over the game without getting in the way, and then they're good team fighters. So, so many big things to say about 100 Thieves, and I want to see if they can keep this streak alive and actually move into a tie for first.
Yeah, them getting into a tie for first, incredibly impressive for them, could set them up for some amazing positioning heading into playoffs. Dignitas, on the other hand, is one of those teams that's making sure they get themselves into playoffs. Remember, this is one of the teams that a lot of people predicted to be lower in the standings. Having that full victory last week, or should I say a couple weeks ago, was incredibly impressive for them, but they got to make sure that they keep up this momentum. You can't just lose all of your games on the back end the last couple of weeks of the split and still hope to be in a good spot. Dig is going to have to put up the dukes and really show everybody that they've spent the last 2 weeks wisely.
And I think the thing that they need to be reminding themselves of is, for them, one win ties them for third. Energy and TL are tied for third at 5-5 right now. That's how compressed the standings are. A loss means they're 1 game out of last. So there is so much swinginess at the end of the season with how compressed these standings are. 5 games left for both of these teams. After this one, there'll only be 4 games left. The game's tomorrow, and then next week when LCS will be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the final week 6 Super Week before playoffs. So it really does matter that they need to come out the gate swinging. Just a reminder, since it's been a little bit since we've seen the drafts on screen, we have Smolder once again for Tomo.
Yeah.
It did not do well the last time we saw it against Senna earlier on in the day. That was Senna not, though. This is Smolder Nautilus. Tomo was one of the early adopters onto this Smolder. If he can get to 225 stacks early, it's going to be really important to cut through the front line that he sees on the side of 100 Thieves, and I can't wait to get into this one.
It was Tomo that played the first Smolder in the LCS. He got a win on it, and if y'all remember back to that game, it was Dignitas versus Immortals. Mask, the enemy mid laner, also played Hwei in that game. That was the first Hwei in the LCS.
Nice.
So we've got the Tomo Smolder versus enemy Hwei. Once again, it's 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. Let's rock and roll. Last game of the day for day 1 here of LCS Face-Off Week. 100 Thieves in the blue, Dignitas in the red. Now, I mentioned how 100 Thieves could be tied for first at the end of this one. I also mentioned how Dignitas had an impressive situation where they managed to win last week. They managed to grab a perfect week. It had been so long since they had done that. I'm trying to remember how long ago they said it was.
So they said it was 6 years. It wasn't 6 years. They had forgotten a previous perfect week they had.
Okay. I'm a little less hype about it now, but it's still really impressive for a team that everybody predicted to not be able to perform that well. We'll see if they can increase that win streak up to a 3 here against 100 Thieves. Sniper on the Renekton versus Rich on the K'Sante. Honestly, last game, we got to see Impact on the K'Sante have a couple of huge moments. Even though K'Sante is now nerfed, he's still, at the end of the day, K'Sante.
And during Champion Select, we got to see the first 9 games of Sniper's LCS career versus a lot of other prominent top laners, including Rich. And one thing that Sniper had is he had more solo kills than all of them. And this is actually something that it wasn't necessarily expected before the year, but we're tracking who Sniper has actually been able to headshot. And he's on his way. He's already solo killed Dokla, Impact, Fudge. Can he get Rich?
He's
Rich
locked
is in his
in.
sights. I will say, Rich gets a lot of solo kills too. So you never know what's going to happen. Yes, Renekton versus Cassante could just be meatballs slapping each other, but when Sniper is in a matchup that he's comfortable with, a champion he's comfortable playing, he's been very aggressive and very effective, so we have to keep track of this during this game.
All right, now in the bottom lane with the Smolder, remember when we saw this in game number 1 today, I believe piloted by Tactical? The enemy team abused it. They put so much pressure bottom lane. They were constantly trying to keep Smolder away from the waves, pressure him off the turret. The stacking was pretty slow in that game, and so much of Smolder is hitting that critical 225 mark, getting your execute, getting that true damage burn.
And I find getting to 25 is actually surprisingly hard, and the earlier you can get it, it'll like exponentially increase your stacking, because when you're 25, you can get the AoE. It means you press W on the back wave, you press Q, you get 3 every time. But I'll say part of what allowed the previous Smolder to get completely denied is the jungler was pathing bot to top. Here you can see eXyu has done 2 camps, and he's just like on Gromp already, skipping blue, like really shadowing Tomo and Eyla, protecting them. Meanwhile, River has gone bot to top. So junglers are completely different. They shouldn't be able to deny Tomo off of this wave just because Lee Sin is here, even if they have a pretty good wave state.
Exactly. Dignitas do not want to let 100 Thieves do to them what Shopify did to Immortals bot lane earlier on in the day. Right now, it is you can see a little bit of a gold lead there for 100 Thieves, but a lot of that is just the fact that they've got control over the waves here in bottom lane and top lane, so those still waiting to be farmed up by the side of Dignitas. As you can see, that gold lead shrinking back down. Dove versus Quid over here in mid lane. Hwei is a champion whose burst is one of the most deceptive in the entire roster of League of Legends. This guy can seem like he's not doing a whole ton of burst just yet, but then all of a sudden the Spiraling Despair pops, the passive procs multiple times. If you clump up against him in a team fight, if you don't respect the AoE and the chain reactions of this champion, everybody goes kaboom.
Your whole team disappears. I'm really curious to see if eXyu can get onto River here. He should just miss out on it. And this is actually very different for 100 Thieves, because I'd say River Quid have been playing these hyper-aggressive 2v2 combos. Like, Hwei Trundle is the antithesis of that. They are camping under their turret. They're trying to, like, sneak crabs and then run back to their own jungle. It's very hard for them to play aggressive, so I want to see if River can still be effective in this game. eXyu, on one of his signature picks in Lee Sin, wants to play very aggressive, whereas now the roles are kind of flipped. Like, if Trundle, Hwei get into the late game, that's really where they're going to turn on. So just going to have to monitor how they navigate not having the stronger 2v2.
All right, we'll also be keeping an eye on when those Smolder breakpoints occur, particularly the 25 and 225 breakpoints that we were talking about earlier. The Smolder currently at, what is that, around 15 stacks, so slowly getting there. But like you said, because you don't have any AoE on Q until 25, those first 25 just feel incredibly sluggish.
They really do. At least they have good bot lane River control. They're allowing him to just hold that wave, get a few free Q last hits to get closer towards 25, and yeah, really trying to take advantage of this early advantage Lee Sin has over Trundle.
You know, eXyu wanted to step up, try to steal away some chickens, but River has Meech right next to him, so that means that Dignitas does not want to overcommit just for a big chicken. For Tomo as well, remember that it's not just last hitting with Q that gives you the stacks, it's also hitting enemy champions with skills in general.
Which is really the faster way to get them.
Right, exactly. If the enemy champion, if you can time it right so that both enemy champions are right next to each other when you hit them with the snot bubble and just get 2 stacks every single time, then that feels really good for accelerating it. As the Grubs are started up here by 100 Thieves, Meech is just #1 Trundle buddy right now.
Yeah, there was a really fun Senna strat that happened in LPL that we probably won't see here, but essentially you move the Senna top at this timer, 5 minutes, but then you just leave the Senna top. and you start 2v1 laning with like Senna Gwen or Senna Renekton and just push the other top laner in. That works if your bot laner is Nautilus and he can 3-point E and wave clear.
It's like what we saw last game.
Eyla cannot do this, so you can see he's losing plates very easily to Tomo, so I would expect Meech to return, but just for those of you watching at home, like keep your eyes open for that type of Senna swapping because it's emerged on the global scene, and I think it's quite good if you have the right champions to do it.
Okay, well, we have the 3 Void Grubs secured by 100 Thieves here, nice and early on. Remember, in the previous game, they were taken a little bit later than this, so we are going to have a larger window to see that second set captured in this one. But the trade was for the first Drake. Dignitas recognizing, hey, they've committed their resources towards top side. Let's go ahead and commit ours towards bottom. This should be free, and sure enough, it was. The neutral objectives traded evenly here at the start of things. How do you feel about early grub trades for Dragon trades?
It seems like teams are prioritizing the grubs, is the way it feels. I'm not fully convinced that it's better yet. I'd say you really need to have strong lanes if you're willing to all in for the grubs, which I'd say 100 Thieves might not have here. Like, they haven't really touched an opponent turret yet. So almost what's the point of getting the 3 grubs this early? However, if they're going to lose the dragon fight anyway, which I think they would, River, Lee Sin, and Talia being level 6, you just kind of initiate the trade if you can be first so you get something. Because if they're not initiating the trade, then they're just going to lose the Drake, and then Dignitas would be able to take the grubs wherever they want. So this one I actually feel like is less of a trade and more like a, we just left early so we get something.
Right,
and in that case, I'm okay with it.
Well, Tomo is up to 33 stacks there on the Smolder. It is a little bit past 7 minutes, so he had that probably around 6.5 or so. Pretty solid early timing for that. Feels just fine. A little bit of trading back and forth, but again, Tomo's just trying to make sure he keeps last hitting with the Q, keep poking with the snot bubbles, up to 38 stacks. Next breakpoint is 125. That's when you're going to get the splash after the initial projectile. That'll help you farm up potentially entire waves at once.
And when you skirmish with that is when you can really get juiced, because you could have one like minute-long fight and get like 20, because you pressed Q that splashed the 3 champions 5 different times.
Right.
That's when you really start moving fast, but we're pretty far from that. I'd still say the early game here is a bit weird for me based on 100 Thieves, just because of River Quid not being on champions that have a lot of agency.
Okay.
And I do want to bring up Golden Glue just a little bit here. He's the head coach of 100 Thieves. This is his first LCS head coaching job. He's also a former LCS pro player.
For a long time.
So yeah, we wanted to compare some of his stats from being player Golden Glue to coach Golden Glue. So, and this is also including Academy. So his record as coach Golden Glue is actually quite prolific.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his solo kills and his bench press PR have dropped.
Yeah, definitely going to have to get back in the lab, get back in the gym.
Drafts have been, he's won more drafts here as well. I think they needed that.
Yeah. Golden Glue, Coach Golden Glue has definitely made some good things happen there on the Rift.
If you ignore his solo kills.
If you ignore his solo kills.
If you want a big bench and solo kills, maybe coaching's not for you.
I mean, 235 is still a really good bench.
That's a really good
like we're talking about like, oh yeah, he fell off a little bit, but going from 285 to 235.
I actually want to see some video evidence. That's a really high bench.
He's still got a really strong bench,
as a player, but like that's still really high.
Like that's dude is strong out there. We'll see if his draft can carry the team to a victory in this one though. 100 Thieves currently up a couple hundred gold, but it's really nothing to write home about. You can see there's that nice little gray hourglass on the map showing us that those next set of grubs should be spawning here before too much longer. It was the first 3 over to the side of 100 Thieves, so if you're Dignitas, you would like to grab at least 2 of the next set, prevent the ability for them to spawn the baby grubbies.
Yeah, or you just like hope that you can be involved in something. eXyu wants to be involved with a lot of things early on in the game, so he's just camping the pit. He can obviously hop out the back, Dove would be able to come down, but 100 Thieves is here. Meech being level 6, this could very well be our first fight. He denies 1, so the 6 stack is gone.
Can't do 6.
Happy with that.
And that's honestly a strategy that you see a lot of junglers go for these grubs, even if you can't take everything, because it's so easy to just burst one down, smite it, because the shield doesn't appear until one dies. You can at least deny that.
Yeah.
So yes, they hit the break point to spawn the grubbies, but they don't get the 6 points like double spawn.
Exactly.
So it's something.
That's when it gets really obnoxious. 100 Thieves still trying to get first blood here. There's definitely been a streak for eXyu having the most first blood kills or assists. He's not around though. He's gonna have to need Rich to clutch up here.
All right, Rich, let's see if he can make it happen. They immediately pop the Trundle ulti from River, sapping away those stats from Rich. He tries to defend in the 1v3, but it just doesn't happen. First blood over to Sniper's Renekton.
And a nice move. I mean, both of Meech's roams on Senna have been pretty effective. They get 3 grubs with the first roam, even though it's a dragon trade, and then they're able to just maul this top lane turret. Yeah, it's really, really tanky right now just because of the way the fortification works and 3 people being around it, so they're going to back off for a bit, but that's most likely going to be the first turret of the game that will eventually go over to 100 Thieves.
And the extra damage, the damage over time there from the 5 grubs, doing a lot of work, helping them force those plates down quickly while still being able to get off some good recall timers. You can see with the gold, it's about a 1,500 lead at 11 minutes for 100 Thieves, which feels really good.
Yeah.
Dignitas going for their second Drake of the game, though.
Yeah, it's priorities. I mean, we've kind of seen this before. We saw this in one of the earlier games, Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, where Blabber was getting a bunch of gold and kills top lane on the Nidalee Renekton, and Cloud9 was getting the first 2 Drakes, and the first 2 Drakes ended up not mattering. It really depends on how they play from this point forward.
Okay.
Nice little dodge from River there, but they're still going for him.
Yeah, he gets kicked back, forced to flash over the Weaver's wall, and Tomo finishes him off. Nicely done there from the side of Dignitas. Tomo also stepping away as the spiraling despair builds around him, making sure that that doesn't end up chaining to anybody else. They didn't want to have any sort of a counterattack on the back end of that. So Dignitas going to shrink that gold lead a little bit and critically get some money on their scaling hyper carry.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the things that's going to be difficult for River in this game, and has been difficult for him. Like, this isn't the stat line you're used to seeing from him. He's 16 CS down against his opponent. He doesn't have any kills. He just has the 1 assist. But it's because there's just so much mobility from the Taliyah Lee Sin to kind of make things happen. One other thing that we do have to track, though, because Sniper was able to get first blood, get his first item, we have to remember, he still needs that solo kill on the Rich. It will still count if he gets it in the upcoming minutes, because this is going to be a portion of the game where I think it's actually more likely to happen. Rich wants to defend that turret, and Sniper could go for a kill, but we have a fight bot lane.
Yeah, Eyla getting locked down here. eXyu ready to back these guys up. Eyla still stepping forward. The thick skin ready to cast. River right behind him, ready to reinforce. A combination of some honey fruits and a Senna heal gets Eyla right back up to about 3/4 HP. Feeling pretty good about that one. As Dignitas will just walk back away. Still less than a 1,000 gold lead separating the teams. That difference being made up for in some of the stats that the first 2 Drakes are providing for Dig. We've got the Herald spawning in 1 minute. Next Drake not going to spawn for 3, so those objectives not at the same time means we shouldn't really see the you take this one, we'll take that one type of trade.
I don't think so, but I do think 100 Thieves will probably get this Rift Herald just with the power differential they have in the top lane. Sniper being on his first item should be able to move down there. Unless 100 Thieves just prioritize gold, there's a lot of standing gold on this bot lane turret as they're trying to get some plates, but look how fast Tomo cleared that wave. He just ulted, he W'd it, pressed Q, and it's gone, so they can't really get that much done. And now River has a really long ways up if he wants to go for the Rift Herald.
Dignitas doing a good job just keeping these guys back there. If that hook connects, because you have eXyu just waiting over the wall, because he's got the kick ready to go, there is a possibility that they try to commit there onto the Tahm Kench, but Eyla sidestepping away cancels out that possibility. As it looks like both of our top laners are going to take the opportunity, take a recall, go back and shop.
Yeah.
Thorn Mail completed for Rich. First item, going to help him survive some of that aggro from Sniper, who starting to work on, buys a Ruby Crystal, decides, no, need more damage.
Yeah.
Second longsword coming in instead.
Yeah, really wants to push his advantage, and I think wants to be able to one-shot a Smolder or a Taliyah, or even kind of threaten if Lee Sin tries to come in and pull anything funny on his Hwei, just one-shot him. We also need to track like how quick Eyla is with his ult whenever eXyu tries to fly in, because I really liked eXyu's early game. But as the Lounge was talking about during the champion select, like the Tahm Kench can be really good against the Nautilus Lee Sin in preventing big team fights from happening. Here's that Rift Herald we thought 100 Thieves was going to get, but they're actually just trading Sniper down to the bottom side. And
Okay, Eyla gobbling up Meech, trying to keep him safe here. As Dub's Weaver's Wall isn't going to have the effect they wanted. Sniper going into the fight now in the middle of 3 different players for Dignitas. Rich deciding to go all out on him, but Rich is bursted down first instead. They're going to trade top laner for top laner as Tomo's trying to get away, but the spiraling despair kills him anyway. Quid getting that kill as Dub cannot finish off any of the low health bars on the side of 100 Thieves. Now he's going to be locked down by the Senna. They want to try to lick him to death, and it's going to be eXyu picking up the kill on Quid. 2 dead on 100 Thieves side, 2 dead on Dignitas as well.
clutch finish there by eXyu, because it was looking like a completely lost fight for Dignitas, but he's able to make it a 2-4-2. It looked like a very strange setup to me, because 100 Thieves could have just kept the Renekton top lane and I think brute force their way in, but they end up getting engaged on early. Sniper has to TP in at a bit of an awkward angle, and then the power of that Renekton, while still kind of effective in that fight, they are able to burst him down because he had to teleport into that compromised position. So watching this one more time, like, yes, they force the Tahm Kench ultimate. They make it so the Senna has to play very conservatively, and Sniper thinks it's going to be a 5v5, but you can just see that was about 2 seconds where Dig was able to bump all their damage on a Sniper, and 100 Thieves wasn't able to retaliate. Then Big Renekton still gets a kill, and we're popping out because Sniper's mid lane.
Ooh, Isles trying to flash away as Sniper flashes in. Tomo is nowhere near the rest of his team, just gets popped in an instant as the Drake is about to spawn, and 100 Thieves are working their way down to the bottom lane.
Super important timer there because the Dragon is up right now. If Dignitas gets this one, it is going to be Soul. They might try and stall this because Tomo can teleport back, and the third Dragon has a lot more health than the second Dragon, so we could see a big team fight here. This could be game deciding.
All right, 5 players strong for 100 Thieves here in the bot side river. Tomo coming in with the TP as Weaver's Wall separates the Thieves. Rich on the flank compared to the rest of the Dignitas squad. They kick the Trundle back into the pit, but he flashes back in to rejoin the fight. The Dragon's still at about 1,500 as eXyu is going to be taken low. The Drake claimed by 100 Thieves. Tomo trying to escape as Eyla and Sniper want to finish him off. Sniper goes in after Tahm, but they split their aggro. They both die. 100 Thieves, though, still winning the fight overall. It's 3 dead on the side of Dignitas. It's about to be 4 as Meech puts a bullet in Tomo, and only Rich survives. 100 Thieves get the objective, get the fight, get everything.
Everything they could have wanted from a mid-game third Dragon fight when you give up the first 2. Not only do they secure the objective, but they get a massive influx of gold. All the kills, plus this turret on the tail end for River's hungry Trundle, who's now miraculously 300 gold ahead of the Lee Sin on the other side. Watch this one more time, and I think the timing was just a little off for Dignitas. It's hard, though, because they're really just trying to steal this. And to me, this is an example of Dig almost over-prioritizing the fight, or the steal over the fight. Because eXyu used his ult on Trundle to kick him out of the pit. That's not kicking Meech or kicking Quid, which could actually win the fight for them, maybe even more important in the grand scheme of the game. But then when you prioritize the Drake, don't get it, you're in a bad position for the fight, and insult leads to injury, and they are down a lot of gold now.
The rough part there was when we saw 100 Thieves kind of split their aggro trying to chase after Dignitas. They end up losing a couple players, but they come out on top anyway.
Yeah.
They got that objective. They're set up in such a good spot. Now they can take the Herald. It's 18.5 minutes. That was only going to be alive for another minute anyway. They pick it up towards the end of the timer. They're up 2,000 gold already, and now they've got plenty of time to decide how they want to use this Rift Herald. Sundered Sky, you can see now completed on this Trundle, who you pointed out, yeah, he's a couple hundred gold ahead of his opponent, and that item can make a big difference in these larger fights.
And he's going to make Isle's life really, really, really hard. It's one of my favorite things is to play Trundle against an Aftershock user.
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you ult an Aftershock person, is River just mauls the turret.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Dove he's caught in a spiraling despair. Even the Dawning Shadow from across the map from Meech, just to make sure that he gets a little bit of assist money on that one. 9-5 now for 100 Thieves. Tomo on the Smolder, just trying to make sure that he stays safe and keeps farming. 163 stacks. So he's getting closer to 225, but with the current state of the game, he's got to get there ASAP.
He does, and that's a lot of Void Mites coming down. River getting a lot of gold. I'm still impressed with the way he played. This is not typical River strat, but he's kind of like managing the map extremely well. This...
What?
Yeah, get out there
What the? Okay, yeah, we're just going to just drive the car into the ditch, hop on out. We're out of here.
Might have been a misclick, who knows. No harm, no foul. So, let's reset here. 3,000 gold, 4 kills, 100 Thieves with the win, gets to 7-3, which is the same record as FlyQuest. Tied for first. Absolutely incredible. Dignitas 4-5. A win here actually ties them for third.
Yep. Also, incredible.
Incredible. A loss, 1 game out of last. Big swinginess emotionally. Even though it's just a game, big swinginess emotionally considering what could happen. Trundle will instantly kill the Nautilus in a fight if he can ult the Aftershock, because then Senna Hwei can just blow him up. However, Tomo's at 175 stacks.
Yes.
So 50 more, he hits 225. That's when he really starts shredding the big front line of Renekton, Trundle, Tahm Kench, who are tanky, but definitely not unkillable. So I'd still say this game's really close. is the recap here, because there's 3 Drakes until 100 Thieves is at Soul.
Yeah.
So Dig probably shouldn't even look at the next Drake.
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, they should just give it away. Just make sure they don't get picked.
And if we remember back to the first Smolder game, the one that Tomo played against Immortal, it was around the 23-minute mark that he hit the 225 stack breakpoint. So if you're comparing that as the point that you want to weigh it against, yeah, unfortunately, this next Drake is going to spawn 60 seconds, 90 seconds before that, and you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
But because you got those first 2 Drakes, you don't feel so bad about letting a second one go over the
Exactly.
100 Thieves.
Yeah, and as long as they're not getting picked in the side lane, which is what 100 Thieves is hoping to do to Rich, but just nothing there because he's got a Thornmail.
Ooh, -1. Feels bad.
Yep. Hurts.
Let Tomo just being given all of these camps. This is the priority. Give Smolder everything. Let him last hit these. River just using the smite to deny the stack.
Drake's up in 24 seconds. I don't even know if his smite's going to be back up, but he got that stack.
Let me check. Smite cooldown 43 seconds. Okay, he doesn't have smite for the Drake, but he took the wolf away.
Dig doesn't know that though.
From
He thought he had a
Smolder.
charge.
Okay. All right, so Smolder lost a wolf. Oh, ooh, nice job! Dawning Shadow isn't going to find the kill, but Spiraling Despair, the shield trying to protect Tomo. They wanted to snipe him down, but just not quite enough damage. They forced that Smolder all the way home. Smite or not, River's going to have an easy time taking that Drake now. Dove up in the top lane. Got a little bit of true damage dot thanks to the 1 grub that they stole away earlier, but should be able to force down this tier 2. Also has his own jungler shadowing him just to make sure.
Yeah, shout out to Eyla's Locket there, giving the crucial shield to save Tomo's life, and then the final dodge on the final Hwei ability. And I think Dig actually played this whole sequence very well. Obviously, they'd like to keep Tomo's flash, but when you're giving up the Drake, since they're not going to be stronger, the fact that they actually traded it for gold, hugely beneficial, right? They got the inner tier 2 turret on the top side. They didn't lose Baron. Drakes are now even, and we're probably 2 waves away from Tomo being to 225. 210 right now, 213. Even if he just last hits minions, he can get there in 2 waves. eXyu, get it. Good.
Oh, there
He's
we
gonna
go.
get there soon.
Yep. And he's the build is kind of a hybrid of the 2 approaches that we've seen discussed for Smolder before. Going for the Essence Reaver Rush for the unlimited mana, the extra damage early on. Spear of Trojan secondary to just get those cooldowns really high, and you can see the Zeal being built into what should be a rapid fire cannon third, which remember, since Q counts as an auto attack, you're just pointing and clicking from a very long way away, and just getting these Qs from extended range that have a splash, that have a true damage dot, that have a true damage execute. It can make him a serious siege weapon.
Yeah, it can. And now that he's going to be at 225, it's going to be more about how does 100 Thieves reach him. And they don't necessarily have great ways of getting backline access. Quid is extremely long range, which helps. Sniper could flank, and Dig doesn't actually have very good peel. And Meech, if he gets more souls, will just have more and more range. But they might fight here. He's hit 227.
Yep, they're going in. Mom over the top. Meech going to get tagged by that one. Tomo, keep your eyes on the Smolder. 100 Thieves still looking for an angle. Dawning Shadow over the top. Finds a couple of different targets. Sniper looking to lock down eXyu, forcing the flashback out of the Lee Sin. Dignitas keeps everybody alive, but they are worse for wear in the health bars. Rich down to half HP. He's going to recall. Does have his teleport to rejoin the fight. Flash also available. Sniper coming around here with the dominance. Eyla's out in the very front. Tries to flash away. Getting caught. River goes on a killing spree as Sniper has to flash back over the wall to try to survive. Dove looking to chase him down, and they make it a 1-for-1. Now Rich here in the front line, and Tomo still looking to free fire. Finds a little bit of hope, but he's got to be careful. Senna has long range too, and Eyla goes in the middle of everybody. Dove is going to drop. Quid's grabbing the kill, and now Rich goes all out, but can he even do it? No, he has to retreat. The snipe forces the flashback out of Cassante now too. 100 Thieves get a 2-for-1.
Really well played team fights on both sides. I feel like Meech and Tomo are playing right at the edges of their range. Meech at 100 souls now getting longer and longer range throughout this. They end up winning the fight 2 kills to 1. But I think one of the underappreciated facts of 100 Thieves' success has been Meech. He's really solid in these team fights. Anytime Tomo wanted to step up to clean a kill, Meech was there to chunk him low. And watching this fight one more time, I do applaud Dig's aggressiveness to right at 225, maybe before 100 Thieves has really processed it, to go for it. They don't get the right type of CC onto River, so Eyla's able to save him very early on in the fight. And both of these teams are really willing to throw down because the fight absolutely could have stopped right here, but as soon as the recall is completed, 100 Thieves decides to go for the dive, and chaos just breaks out.
Yeah, River getting the kill on Isles with the damage over time from the subjugation, and then Sniper gets chased down by Dove here, and you can see River then flashing out as Dove and Rich and everybody else from Dig are stepped up trying to get away. They throw in the Kench, and they sit him right back down. Rich barely escaping there. Remember, that Hwei snipe, that artillery shot, does more damage if you're either CC'd or isolated.
What is this? Senna and Hwei are going to be amazing. 3 frontline tanks plus 2 huge range carries. I mean, yeah, they're going to have a lot of range. More range than the Smolder. So we've done all this talking about the 225 stack Smolder. It is really hard for him to get to the carries of the other team by pressing Q. If they can set up a fight where they actually get to free hit the front line a little bit and 100 Thieves messes up their fight lines, those 3 are going to die fast to the Smolder, but it's going to be a game about team fight positioning. We're still 2 Drakes away from either team getting sold. So the acceleration for 100 would be to just go for this Baron right away and see how aggressively they want to flip it.
All right, the Baron already started up. How far will 100 Thieves go for this? eXyu over the wall tags it with the Sonic Wave. Dignitas is aware of what's going on, and 100 Thieves is aware of Dignitas' awareness. So now they're going to back away. Baron resets.
What I like about 100 Thieves here is Sniper is killing the top lane turret because they know Rich has no TP. So there was no one matching him. They knew they could get a free turret, and they weren't trying to go for the Baron. And until they send Talia to match, they're not going to pull off because Talia can actually come with teleport. So now they're thinking about a mid lane fight instead of the Baron flip.
River's got to be careful here. Immediately getting focused, but he pops the subjugation back on Rich, looking to focus him down now instead as Tomo is taken down below half HP, and eXyu's got to be careful now too. River continuing pushing forward, and eXyu is dead in the dirt. Quid takes the kill, and now enemy jungler dead. I think 100 Thieves is looking at Baron.
What was that comment again that said the Hwei Senna is going to have really long range and is going to be good?
Yeah.
They're right.
Good job, Twitch chat guy.
Yeah. Did you see Tomo there? He couldn't do anything. He was like 1,000 units away from the fight, you know, running for his life.
And there goes the Crocodile, just hanging out, still having a good time. Yes, Dignitas is going to get the Drake as the trade for this Baron, which is about the best you could hope for at this point.
Yeah, actually, I like the Dig is going for this, but 100 Thieves knows there's no smite, so they might try and get a little greedy.
Yeah,
that's a teleport.
I think they are. Sniper jumps in the what? Sniper, what in the hell was that?
Man, I was thinking quadra kill. Maybe rethink that one.
Yeah, that was. Oops. Okay, Sniper with a little bit of getting a little ahead of himself here. Maybe going a little too much.
I think 100 Thieves was a little bit too hyped there because they had just taken control of the game. The team fights were looking just very favored in their side. Something I'd say Golden Glue has done in most of his 100 Thieves drafts. They've just generally picked compositions that work better in 5v5, and the way you judge the effectiveness of his draft is how easy or hard the early game is. But anyway, watching this fight one more time, like just watch Quid onto Tomo at the start of this fight, and what they're showing us actually is Dove interrupting Sniper's teleport in, but how it doesn't really matter in the end because they can still easily 4v4 push Dignitas back, kill the jungler, and go straight for Baron.
Hwei is so strong. The fear onto the Smolder, and then immediately following it up with Spiraling Despair. Spiraling Despair is crazy powerful. This thing is going to do, what is that? Every 0.25 deals 50 magic damage per second, so you're going to get that for 3. That's 150 plus 728 on proc, so about 900 damage pre-mitigation just from the ulti. And it's on a 45-second cooldown.
There's absolutely no MR on Tomo.
Yeah.
Or Dove. So if he's and the range is so long, it almost doesn't matter that there's a front line on Dignitas because Quid is able to reach these guys. Quid is having an incredible streak of games. He was player of the week before the break and really popping off once again on Hwei here.
And I know that he was a big point of criticism last year because he didn't have a ton of great performances previously. He was one thing that a lot of fans are being like, man, why is 100 Thieves deciding to keep Quid around? Like, is this the call? And now he's kind of been popping off for him. As Sniper again, this is not where he wants to be, or is it? A little bit of damage coming in over the top, but Spiraling Despair is going to zone away the rest of Dignitas. They cannot commit hard enough to kill off the Croc.
Sniper definitely having a few moments that are on the edge here as 100 Thieves try and close the game. Really poor Baron power play, all things considered. Plus 1,200 gold with only 40 seconds left.
The default's 1,500. You get 300 for every guy. So not... Generally, if it ends lower than 1,500, there's something you could have done better with the Baron.
That's safe to say.
That's the way that I like to put it politely.
I think the average is probably like a plus 3k. So this is like 2,000 gold below average. And Dig now just one Drake away from a soul in 2 minutes 20 seconds, so still favoring 100 Thieves in the game, but you never know. On to Quid though.
Okay.
It is just still so surprising to me. Looking at that 2023 roster.
Yeah.
Someday, Closer, Bjergsen in the spring, Double Lift, Busio, Quid. Who you keeping?
Quid.
Get rid of all those guys for keeping Quid, and he's like best player. One of the best
Yeah,
players
now
on
he's
the team.
smurfing.
They're in second place with the win. They go to first. No one would have said that. Absolutely no one would have said, you know what? River and Quid are going to be the best mid jungle in the entire LCS, and they're going to be tied for first after 10 games.
And it's looking like that's about to be the case. He's currently tied for the highest KP on the team at 10 out of 12. And when you're a champion that has this much range, it's very easy to affect every type of fight that you could possibly get involved in. As now we're going to see 100 Thieves continue, pushing up the mid lane. Baron's not alive for another 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Drake is spawning in 90 seconds from now. And I think you said it. If Dignitas wants to have any kind of a chance to really stabilize and make sure that they don't just get run over, it kind of needs to be a Mountain Soul angle, as Quid now could be caught out. He immediately lands the fear into Spiraling Despair. Dove has to pop the stasis just to survive the burst coming out from this champion. Hwei is just not going to die. Dawning Shadow over the top to find both the burst and the reinforcement for his own mid laner. Quid is showing these guys exactly how it goes down. They thought they were going to go after him, man. He just paints him a happy little accident in the 1v2 and completely turns it around.
Who is Quid and what has he done with Quid? Because this is a completely different player. Doesn't even have to use the stopwatch in this fight. They get 2 kills. Sure, Dignitas was going to be able to stall this one out for a bit longer, but what a massive win for them here, breaking open at least the inhibitor.
All right, Inhib down in bottom lane. Let's see what else 100 Thieves wants to push for. They got the next wave coming up behind them. There's still 10 seconds on Dove, 10 seconds on eXyu. Tomo doesn't have an ulti here to fight with. Quid and the rest of 100 Thieves still pushing up. River's here on the front line as Sniper's going to be devoured back to safety. First Nexus turret focused down, and that one's going to drop. Isles dies as well as Rich tries to stand and fight, and finally Quid is knocked over. Rich ready to keep this one going as Dove throws out the projectiles. Dignitas is barely hanging on, and 100 Thieves are not leaving yet. Another lick comes out from Eyla. They lock down Dove again. He's gone. Maybe the Abyssal dive. Abyssal dive. Meech going on a rampage as Dove takes out Sniper. Now eXyu and Rich have to try to survive here in the 2v3. Eyla, once again, Abyssal dive leading the way. Meech is all the damage. Rich and eXyu know it. They gotta play smart around this. But Rich here on the front line, finally gonna be bursted low. Bursted down. Meech is unstoppable as eXyu, the last man standing. But he's only Lee Sin. It's 33 minutes into the game. They're just gonna kill the Nexus instead. 100 Thieves are going to get it done. They'll pad the stats a little bit before they stop. eXyu finally falls over. Isles respawns only to die again. They're gonna lock him up too. They just want to make sure they look good doing it. 100 Thieves farming them in the fountain. 100 Thieves onto the Nexus. 100 Thieves are tied for first place.
7-3, 400 Thieves on the march towards playoffs. Another massive game from Quid, this time on the Hwei. Honorable mention to Meech's Senna, 6-0-11. Whew. Who would have thought?
These guys are pretty good, man. 100
really
Thieves, pretty good team.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit stunned just about the way that game ended as well. Everyone knows Quid's a problem, so Dove and eXyu just completely sell out to try and kill him in the bot lane pick. He turns it around, kills one of them. Senna ult comes in over the top. That leads to that final push where they actually played that incredibly aggressive. Great game by 100 Thieves.
All right, now let's toss things down to Raz for the post-game interview.
What's up? I got the victorious Eyla right next to me for this win. How is this game, brother? It's another hectic one.
Yeah, it was hectic, but I don't think it was as bad as the C9 TL, because like before the break, both games were like very, very, very chaotic, like insane kills per minute. But I think this game was more cleaner than we expected. It's no secret we do pull in scrims, so like no one had any idea how the game would go, and I think it was more tame than I expected it to be.
That makes sense. And like, I know you guys within like the 100 Thieves podcast you guys had, were talking about just how you guys felt like you were a streakier team. But now you guys are on a streak. Like, you guys have been in winning ways. What have you guys been working on overall during the break that you guys have had? Because, yes, when you're winning, you don't want to have that loss of momentum, but it seems like you guys are still firing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us thought we had momentum coming into this week. Because, like, a 3-week break of only scrimming is very long. So no one's thinking, like, oh, we just came off, like, I think it's like four stage wins in a row. I don't think any of us were thinking about that. It was more like what are our problems in scrims? What do we need to fix? Like, why are we like getting shit on all the time? Like, we're focusing a lot on the fundamentals and like trying to help each other out and like just rediscover ourselves as a team. So yeah, that's been our focuses over the break.
That makes sense. And it feels like the meta changed pretty heavily. Senna has dominated today. To say the least, Senna has dominated. And it felt like it's dominated in a different way than we've seen before, where she's now actually just laning with top, laning with mid, picking up plates. And it's really hard for, in this case, it was like Nautilus, Melee, but also Cassante has been getting abused pretty regularly. Where do you feel like that is coming from? Because like now it's just been a constant hit throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, Senna's just broken. I mean, it's very obvious. Everyone on the LCS thinks it's broken. All the teams so far have tried to counter it, and I think it's 100% win rate today or not?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I mean, it just farms souls so easily, and like you can go top. Like you see a lot of Sennas going top lane, they get grubs. They lean against the top, they get a bunch of souls, and like even though Smolder this game was like pretty strong, like had Elder in a reasonable pace, like it didn't matter because our comp is so tanky and Senna is so strong, and like it's just the chance broken.
That makes sense to me. And the last question that I got for you is just like about the team environment, because you're on a team that you guys have talked about it quite a bit about how you guys have a lot of trust in each other. Seems like it's like just such a positive team like environment for you to do what you've done when you were in Academy, actually, when you were in TLA. Can you talk about what has allowed you to be able to feel free and being able to shot call, make plays like this, and just like you guys are performing because of it?
I think it's just everyone, like every player in the team, every coach, the coaching staff, our general manager Joseph, like everyone is very, very open, and like we're willing to like criticize each other, but at the same time, even when we're doing poorly in scrims or like we're not doing the best, we're like just supporting each other, telling each other like, guys, like be confident, let's be better. And I think just having those type of people in the team, like which dominate the culture, and like it just allows us to play aggressive and like not be afraid to make mistakes, you know, like we don't play perfect, we're still very bloody, but we're not afraid, and we just shine because of that.
Hell yeah, and it makes it makes it exciting for us to watch. So appreciate it. Thanks for the interview.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to be sending it to the desk. Thank you guys.
It's time for Catch Up XP, where I submit these two teams to torture, and by torture I mean putting together dragon puzzles.
Oh, wait, what? I'm in a zone right now.
Okay.
All right. Each team has 5 minutes to complete a puzzle. The winning team will be rewarded 20 points for completion or 10 points for getting further than their opponent.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay, let's do it.
On your mark, get set, go.
Do the outside first. Do the outside first. The corner pieces. Like find these type of pieces. Yeah. Okay. And put on the outside and.
If we can find connections too, that's good. We can start building.
Bottom.
Oh, this is a dragon now. This is a dragon eyes.
Yeah, both teams seem to be employing the same strategy of doing the border pieces first.
No, bro. No.
If you put it there,
This is like here, bro.
why is it so hard?
Yo, they're also struggling, so it's fine, I think. You think so? We're not struggling.
Oh, I did this.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, it's here. I found the top left.
Production wants me to ask you, what is your strategy?
Just use our brains.
What has your strategy been thus far?
We don't have strategy.
Watch out, I'm like smurfing right now.
I'm smurfing. Oh
no.
How close are you?
I don't think we're getting there, to be honest.
yeah, we're smurfing.
I suck it away, man. Oh wait, we can look at the image.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Shopify really close.
Look at the shapes of these. This is like a
this
weird
here?
one.
Just work our way up, no?
Yeah. All right, we got it, guys.
Just compare the image and find.
No, I think
This.
this.
GG.
GG.
All right, warm up, hit the button.
No way.
Let's go.
You can keep going. They may have gotten it wrong, but
You think we got this wrong?
You think we got it wrong?
no, you did not.
We did not get it wrong.
Congratulations! Shopify Rebellion win! Woo!
We just suck. I think we need to go back and mod review.
And that is it for another episode of Are You Smarter Than LCS Pro? Once again, congrats, Shopify Rebellion. There are your winners for today.
Woo! Come on, River, you could have carried us. Like, you could have done better.
We will see you next time. Thank you.
Welcome back to the LCS Lounge. Last place in Are You Smarter Than? Probably worst performance ever by a team.
Yes.
But first place in the LCS.
Let's go.
What really matters in life.
True.
Let's check out the Pogs from today. Curious who ended up winning that last one. I heard votes for Quid, maybe River, maybe Meech. It was Quid.
Easy.
Insanity Blabber, who he quid for the day.
It's funny too. I want to put this out there because as I was getting the interview done with Eyla, I hear Golden Gloom be like, "Quid doesn't get this, I write." So they are not writing, guys. I think we're okay.
I love the who he unkillable Nautilus still. That was just so funny watching TL be like, okay, 3 people can't do it. We need all 5 people. And then he still just does not die. Obviously, Senna was the star across all of our 4 games, but that Senna Nautilus from NRG was just hilarious.
Yeah, double Quid. Senna won all 4 games. Let's check out the highlights, though, from games 1 to 4. First up was Shopify Rebellion versus Immortals. It was a very close game.
It was.
Although, it wasn't the fastest start to the day, I'd say.
And it wasn't the highest quality game. I feel like there were a lot of mistakes that ended up happening from specifically IMT side. But they made it close somehow. Like, the shutdown came in. Apparently, Tactical was ending like farming quite well, so it was close, even though Shopify completely decimated bot side.
Man, they just weren't accelerating the game whatsoever. They had that massive bottom lane advantage, and then just weren't just moving between lanes to take turrets.
Yeah, it's just like they gotta get some more practice in, you know? The break wasn't enough.
We need more. We need more.
Yeah.
The moment this was happening, I was convinced that IMT was going to win. And even with the Baron picked up, I was like, okay, Tactical actually has kills. He has a lot of gold. It felt like that was going to be the case, but no, this engage is quite good.
Oh my god, this fight always old 9-17 on Insanity. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the turning point with the Hwei triple kill, right? So the big story of the day, though, I think, is that this was a great Nidalee Renekton performance. Obviously, again, we talked about the Senna, but I thought C9 did such a great job in this game using the advantages that they did focus on getting on that top side, spreading it around the rest of the map.
Yeah, and I think the one thing was the interview that we ended up getting from Blabber. He talked about that they were working on getting a team identity down, and it felt great for me. Fudge had an amazing lane, and also Blabber just completely blasted the game open. The top lane dive that we expected to happen did happen, and he started to snowball off it.
Yeah, and I think the team also just looked really comfortable executing this composition overall. It's a lot of comfort picks across the board for them, and also a playstyle on this recent patch that I think they'll be more comfortable with.
This was a close one, weirdly enough. It felt at the start like it was going to be draft diff. Then I was worried that I talked crap on the TL draft for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was draft diff. How'd you feel about this one, Aphro?
This one, yeah, I mean, it was kind of close. TL no AD damage, energy, Thanos on the Nautilus because the game went so long, he was able to farm forever. But I think, yeah, TL had some type of AD damage, whether it be Graves in the jungle or something like that. I don't know. Would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I think the one thing that got me a little worried was Team Liquid had an early lead based off of Core JJ's early gank top lane, and Doklo was in a really bad spot. But what Eyla just said is accurate. Senna has just been it's just broken.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And so they got, like an insane amount of turret plates just off this one alone. Like 11 turret plates in the 14 minutes of the game.
It's so weird to me. It's like such a big coincidence that 4 of the teams are willing to let Senna through.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also 4 of the teams are like, no, this is just so broken, we're going to first pick it every single time. Like, how did that happen? How did one of the teams that think it's so broken not let it, like, be red side and just ban it?
I feel like this happens a lot when there's a new pick that people are abusing. Hey, let's go! Let's go! I did not see that one coming. Like, we've seen that, like, when Rise was broken in the past, people are like, oh, but, like, range kills it, and we think theoretically this could work, but it just never really pans out that way.
Yeah, I mean, this was the game I was the most surprised that Senna did not get banned.
Yeah.
Only because, again, we talked about it in draft. 100 Thieves are a team that we've already seen be super, super comfortable with piloting Senna compositions. And I, once again, really loved and appreciated this 100 Thieves composition coming out. They seem to have a really good understanding of who they are. And also, it was great to see Quid popping off on the Hwei this time.
Oh, so clean. I didn't even notice that flash live.
Yeah, same. I mean,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he just...
That's a bog.
Yeah. This is why Grayson was like,
Yeah.
Quid Pog, or we
It doesn't really matter that Meech was like 6-0 and 11 with like perfect Senna. So it's like, well, Quid did this one thing, so of course.
this game was just insane. Yeah, we're just taking a look at the standings, and you're right. The point that you made about 100 Thieves now being first place, tied for first with FlyQuest is crazy.
Cloud9, third place.
They're 500.
They're climbing. Cloud9 and Energy, both big wins today.
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark to me, again, is TL. Because they put together some really good games and some really strong executions of compositions. And then today, they actually almost kind of were able to take it.
Schedule for tomorrow, Immortals versus Energy right off the bat. See if Energy can complete the 2-0 week. Battle for first. 100 Thieves versus
True.
FlyQuest. That's got to be match of the week.
That has to be.
Team Liquid Cloud9 at the end. One of those teams walking away into the final week with a losing record could also be pretty shocking. Here is the NACL schedule as well. This will be coming up right after this, following LCS, TLC versus Maryville University, and then AoE versus Fear. Check out the Sunday schedule there as well. But that is it for us here from the LCS. We'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, so same time as today. So now let's hand it over to Contracts to stream. We're rating him. Check him out. He's doing an AMA. Goodbye.
I think it might hit Senna, by the way. I think Senna's rooted. Yeah, he's rooted. He's dead, he's dead.
Hitting fronts. Carrot is home, carrot is home.
We're too hard. Oh, shit.
It was Shopify that come up big. Better team fights, better coordination. They walk away with the win. Cloud9 step forward. There's the flash. The depth charge connects onto Masu, and it's the dredge line onto Busio. You thought they were going for 180 carry, but they can take either one of them as Masu's going to flash out. Inspire twisted advance forward, but it's not going to mean anything. This is Cloud9's base now. They're pushing forward and looking to put the finishing touches on this one, Kobe.
Here with the Nautilus, dawning shadow over the top, and Nautilus still ain't dead. Why are we overcommitting to the Nautilus team? Liquid Contract going in on top of APA, but he ends up finding Meech. Just get FBI flashing back away as APA goes golden. That's nothing but a trophy for Energy as APA drops and Core JJ's trying to get the hell out of town. Hwei and the rest of Energy still going in. They thought they caught the knot. No way, not today. Energy turn it right back around and suplex him in the mid lane. Rich on the flank compared to the rest of the Dignitas squad. They kick the Trundle back into the pit, but he flashes back in to rejoin the fight. The Dragon still at about 1,500 as eXyu is going to be taken low. The Drake claimed by 100 Thieves. Tomo trying to escape as Eyla and Sniper want to finish him off. Sniper goes in after Tahm, but they split their aggro. They both die. 100 Thieves, though, still winning the fight overall. It's 3 dead on the side of Dignitas. It's about to be 4 as Meech puts a bullet in Tomo, and only Rich survives. 100 Thieves get the objective, get the fight, get everything.